eUnited came out swinging this week, taking down Rise, United, and giving Optic a run for their money. Did Clayster and company find their mojo, or will they fizzle out before champs? Chance, what have you got for me?
I think eUnited's great. I think they're in a fantastic position to make playoffs, even to have maybe an event win potentially in the future as well. Think about what they need to do. Maybe get 2-2 split, worst case scenario, do even better. But they're playing the bottom 4 teams in this division, excluding themselves. So, yeah, I think they're in a phenomenal spot to at least qualify for playoffs. And I think they could potentially win playoffs. I think they could potentially win champs. I think they have the makings.
What?
The issue is, it's tough for them to get to the grand finals. They're a team where if they make it to the grand finals, I think they can win it.
Agree with
they're
that.
a team that's going to have problems that's actually getting there. Like, there's a lot of teams that can make it to the grand finals, but I'm just like, no, they're not going to beat Rise. They're not going to beat whomever. But this is one team that I think is an exception. Like, they've reverse sweep Rise Nation twice. Granted, it's in Columbus, Ohio, but I believe they have the makings of, if they make it to the grand finals of either playoffs or champs, absolutely they can win. They're a fantastic team. Really, their respawns are great. They just got to fix their search, and their search isn't even that bad.
Okay, I'm not convinced yet. All right, now I did make the argument I thought eUnited would be top 4 last week. I want to play the other side of this, play devil's advocate, because I mentioned we talked all the time. They're hot and they're cold. They're Jekyll and Hyde. They're Two-Face. They play good teams well. They play the bad teams poor. They did great this week. They went 2-1, but I'm not yet convinced. When they struggled sometimes was against the lesser teams in the division. So let's take a look at their schedule. They play Mind Freak, Tatum Mines, Luminosity, and Complexity. Who do they lose to the first 2 weeks? LG and Complexity. And what did I say last week? Tatum Mines or Mind Freak, they are going to get one victory that is going to shape the top 4. I think LG and Complexity beat eUnited again, and Tatum Mines or Mind Freak, one of those teams beats eUnited. They don't make playoffs. I can see it happening because they play the top teams. And think about their position. In stage 1, their position was they were at like the bottom, and they had that crazy run. Remember, they started out slow. They go on that heroic run. That's what Clayster's known for. That's what eUnited's been known for. They haven't been in like this spot where they control their own destiny. They've always been fighting from behind, fighting from the loser's bracket, knockout in winners round 1, winners round 2. They haven't been in this position before where they control it. It's a different type of pressure. It's a different mentality. I think they might let it slide. And I know that goes against kind of what I thought last week, but I also think that if this happens, it makes everything a whole lot more interesting. So I'm rooting for a couple losses just so it gets spiced up in the middle.
I mean, I would agree with that because of United's inconsistency. If it wasn't for the fact that they're literally playing the bottom 4 teams in the division, some of which they already have wins against, it would require so many different things to fall in place. But a Complexity who what? The only game mode they're good in right now is Search. Like, they're just going to get their hands and respawn. Like, again, you pointed out earlier when you talked about Complexity, that actually has to go off for there to even be a hope. And LG, their S&D record, I think, is, what, like 4-10 at the moment in Stage 2. They had success in Anaheim because they completely turned that around. Now they're back to their old ways. Can one of those teams pull the win over eUnited? Sure. Can both of them? Probably not. And then can one of the bottom 2 teams? It's even less likely.
I mean,
it's possible, but completely
they're in a
improbable.
good spot. I mean, they're, what, 6-4 right now? So they basically need to go 2-2. So I'm saying they're going to get 3 losses, which I know is crazy, but I'm just trying to play the other side of this, and I hate that I could see it happening. Like, I don't want this 1 week to be all that I think about. This entire year, this eUnited team, we weren't sure what we were going to get from one day to the next. I think at some point in this final week, that's going to pop up again. And if it doesn't, I will be a believer that they can make a run to win an event. But until I see consistent results, I'm not a believer. And I can't just take these 3 matches this week, and it doesn't turn me around the entire way. It doesn't.
Here is the problem for me. I have to agree with Chance, so I'm going to
get out of here, Joe,
and give him the point. Listen,
I'm casting with Revan for now on.
Is eUnited gonna? Yeah, sure. All right. Is eUnited? Are they gonna lose 3 matches to Complexity, Mind Freak, and Tatum Mines? Like, maybe you give them a loss to Luminosity, and that's big for LG because they hold the tiebreaker over them if it comes down to that. But the way LG looked, or not LG, the way eUnited looked, the way they handled business this week, the tough part is done for them. They just have to bring the intensity. If they aren't lackadaisical this week, they should be fine.
Hey, Joe,
they
answer your question.
Playoffs.
Has eUnited strung together 2 good weeks of play this entire year?
They have not. But now is the time
it's going to be interesting. Here we go.
It is going to be a great last week, and I'm so excited about it. But the problem with me is they are at 6-4 right now. They have the tough part out of the way. They just need to focus on up and play to the best of their ability.